My name is Sarah. For years, I battled a debilitating chronic illness that traditional medicine struggled to fully alleviate. Desperate for relief, I found myself adrift in a sea of online forums and alternative health groups, where stories of miraculous recovery abounded. That's when I discovered Vitality Reborn Clinic, a holistic wellness center that promised to heal the body, mind, and spirit through natural, ancient, and energy-based therapies. Their website featured serene images of happy, healthy people, and testimonials from former patients who claimed to have overcome incurable diseases. Their lead healer, Dr. Anya Sharma, a woman with calm eyes, a soothing voice, and an aura of profound wisdom, spoke eloquently about tapping into the body's self-healing capabilities. I genuinely believed I was embarking on a journey to true wellness and recovery. But beneath the veneer of tranquil ambience and compassionate rhetoric, Vitality Reborn Clinic was a meticulously designed placebo trap. It was a place where hope was weaponized, where chronic conditions were exploited, and where the desperate search for health led to financial ruin and physical decline. Looking back, I wasn't just a patient seeking a cure. I was a vulnerable target, ready to be milked for every penny under the guise of holistic healing. My initial consultation felt incredibly personalized and empathetic. Dr. Sharma listened intently, nodded understandingly, and assured me she understood my suffering. But the first red flag was the immediate and intense pressure to commit to their incredibly expensive, customized healing protocols. These protocols involved multiple daily energy alignment sessions, weekly detoxifying crystal therapies, and a vast array of proprietary natural supplements, none of which were FDA approved or scientifically validated. The costs were astronomical, ranging from thousands to tens of thousands of dollars for a few months of treatment. They used high-pressure sales tactics, emphasizing the urgency of my condition and the unique opportunity to access their exclusive methods. "Sarah, your body's energy is deeply imbalanced," Dr. Sharma explained, her voice soothing. "Our comprehensive Vitality Reborn protocol will realign your chakras and flush out toxins. This is your chance for true healing. What is your health worth to you?" The financial burden was immense, but the promise of a cure felt too compelling to resist. I ended up draining my savings and even borrowed from family to afford the initial 3-month program. Then came the issue of discouraging legitimate medical care and creating dependency. As I began the protocol, Vitality Reborn subtly, but firmly, advised against continuing any traditional medical treatments or consulting with my regular doctors. They claimed conventional medicine was suppressing my body's natural healing, filled with toxic chemicals, and interfering with their energy work. My progress, or lack thereof, was always attributed to my resistance, my negative energy, or my lack of faith in their methods. This created an echo chamber where their wisdom was the only truth, and any external medical advice was deemed harmful. I remember another patient, a young man with a serious heart condition, who was convinced by Dr. Sharma to stop taking his prescribed medication, relying solely on their heart-opening herbal tinctures. His condition rapidly worsened, but the clinic insisted it was a healing crisis and he needed to push through. He ended up hospitalized, narrowly escaping a fatal cardiac event. The clinic then blamed him for not following the protocol perfectly. The most egregious deception involved the sale of worthless, exorbitantly priced natural supplements and the proprietary blends and ancient remedies they sold were marketed as miraculous cures for everything from cancer to chronic fatigue. Yet, upon closer inspection, these were often basic vitamins, common herbs, or even just colored water, repackaged in fancy bottles and sold for hundreds or thousands of dollars. We were told these supplements were charged with vital energy or sourced from sacred lands, justifying their insane prices. The focus was always on selling more and more products, rather than demonstrating any actual, measurable improvement in health. The chilling realization dawned on me. Vitality Reborn Clinic wasn't a path to wellness. It was a carefully constructed charade built on desperation and pseudoscience. The soothing ambiance, the empathetic smiles, the promises of healing. They were all part of an elaborate placebo trap. Every time I swallowed a worthless elixir, or lay under their energy lamps, knowing my condition wasn't improving, I felt a cold knot in my stomach. The placebo trap wasn't just about financial fraud. It was about systematically preying on vulnerability, discouraging legitimate medical care, and turning human suffering into a source of boundless profit, all for the sake of deceptive healing. The crushing financial burden and the insistence on abandoning legitimate medical care at Vitality Reborn Clinic were deeply unsettling. But as my condition showed no real improvement, and I became more integrated into their system. I uncovered a much more insidious and chilling aspect of their operation, the systematic isolation of patients and the creation of a cult-like dependency. I began to notice that Vitality Reborn subtly, yet effectively, isolated patients from their external support systems. We were encouraged to spend most of our time at the clinic, attending daily group healing meditations, energy-sharing circles, and mandatory educational workshops. These activities consumed our days, leaving little time or energy for friends and family, especially those who expressed skepticism about the clinic's methods. Dr. Sharma taught us that anyone who questioned our healing journey was filled with negative energy and was blocking our progress. This created a powerful echo chamber where the clinic became our soul's source of validation, truth, and community. "Sarah, your true healing tribe is here, within these walls," Dr. Sharma would say, her voice calm but firm. "Those outside may not understand your path. They carry their own toxins." This emotional manipulation made it difficult for many patients to reach out for help, or even to see the red flags from an outside perspective. Then came the issue of psychological manipulation through false hope and blame, the victim tactics. When patients showed no improvement, or even worsened, Dr. Sharma and her team would never admit fault. Instead, they would blame the patient. "You're not meditating deeply enough. Your faith isn't strong enough. You haven't fully released your emotional block. You must have unknowingly consumed something toxic." This constant gaslighting made patients believe that their suffering was their own fault, driving them to commit even more deeply and spend more money on the next level of treatment. It trapped them in a cycle of self-blame and financial desperation. I remember a woman named Clara, who had sold her house to pay for a year-long advanced healing protocol for her autoimmune disease. Her health rapidly deteriorated, but Vitality Reborn insisted she was undergoing a powerful detoxification process, and that she just needed more sessions to push through. She died shortly after, completely bankrupt and far from her family, still believing she had failed the treatment. The clinic simply sent a brief, impersonal condolence email to her family, noting her spiritual transition. The most egregious deception involved the exploitation of desperate patients for recruitment and endorsement. As part of their healing journey, patients who showed even minimal, temporary improvements were heavily pressured to become Vitality ambassadors. This meant recording glowing testimonials, recruiting new patients, and publicly defending the clinic against any criticism. They would be offered discounts on future treatments or exclusive access to new breakthrough therapies as incentives. This turned victims into unwitting accomplices, perpetuating the cycle of deception and drawing in more vulnerable individuals. The pressure to maintain this healed facade, to pretend everything was perfect while my body was still failing and my bank account dwindling, became unbearable. My fellow patients, caught in the same snare, were either too deeply invested, too isolated, or too psychologically manipulated to question anything. "You just need to trust the process, Sarah," they'd say, their eyes reflecting the clinic's hypnotic positivity. My sleep became restless, haunted by the empty promises, the forced positivity, and the cold, calculating eyes of Dr. Sharma behind her serene smile. I started seeing the healing sessions not as therapy, but as theatrical performances, and the promise of a cure not as hope, but as a cruel manipulation. The placebo trap was no longer just a metaphor, it was a horrifying reality, a systematic exploitation of suffering, turning human desperation into a journey of profound psychological and financial devastation, all for the sake of boundless profit and unyielding control. I knew I couldn't continue. The thought of enduring another healing session, knowing the lies it perpetuated and the lives it consumed, became an unbearable torment. The crushing weight of financial loss and the harrowing realization of the psychological manipulation at Vitality Reborn Clinic were truly unbearable. Every false promise, every healing crisis, every energy alignment session that yielded no real improvement. They gnawed at my very being. I saw the desperate hopes in the eyes of new patients, clinging to every word from Dr. Sharma, walking blindly into this meticulously designed placebo trap. I knew I couldn't be a part of this cruel charade any longer. My fractured hope, clinging to the last shreds of scientific reason, screamed for truth. The final breaking point arrived during a personal testimonial session. I was pressured to stand before a group of new, hopeful patients and share my miraculous transformation. As I looked at their eager faces, ready to believe every word, a wave of nausea washed over me. How could I lie? How could I condemn them to the same financial ruin and physical decline I had endured? The thought of becoming an accomplice in their suffering, just to maintain my own facade, was more agonizing than any illness. I had to break free. That evening, fueled by a terrifying clarity, I didn't go home. Instead, I meticulously compiled all the evidence I had collected, screenshots of their outlandish claims, copies of my exorbitant billing statements, emails from other disillusioned patients, and even recordings of Dr. Sharma subtly discouraging legitimate medical treatment. It was a risky move, but the thought of remaining silent was far more terrifying than any threat they could wield. The next morning, I walked straight into Dr. Sharma's serene, incense-filled office. She was performing a purification ritual over a new batch of healing crystals. Dr. Sharma, I stated, my voice shaking slightly, but firm and resolute. I'm leaving, and I'm going to expose everything. She slowly put down her crystal, her serene smile vanishing, replaced by a look of cold fury. Leaving, Sarah, and talking. You are truly lost. Your negative energy is blocking your healing. You signed our agreements. Your financial obligations are vast. We know your vulnerabilities. We know your desperate history, your health, your reputation. It will all be shattered. People who leave our path find themselves spiraling into deeper illness, consumed by the very darkness they tried to escape. You'll never find true wellness outside of our guidance. And trust me, dear, we have many devoted followers who will ensure our truth prevails. And yours is silenced. She smiled, a chilling, humorless curve of her lips. Be wise, Sarah. Be silent. Her threats were terrifying, painting a vivid picture of a lonely, sick future. But the image of Clara, the woman who died, and the countless individuals trapped in this placebo trap, gave me an unyielding resolve. I don't care, I said, meeting her gaze squarely. My health is my own, and I won't be silent anymore. Not for you. Not for anyone. I turned and walked out, leaving behind the soothing music, the calming aromas, and the oppressive atmosphere of forced wellness. I didn't look back. I left my patient card on the reception desk, shedding the last vestiges of Vitality Reborn Clinic. I knew the fight ahead would be long and arduous, a battle not just for my own justice, but for the countless others who had been, or would be, lured into this dangerous deception. But I had already taken the first, most crucial step towards reclaiming my own well. It's been a year since I left. I'm now actively working with consumer protection agencies and medical ethics organizations, helping to investigate and expose fraudulent, alternative therapy clinics. The work is challenging and often emotionally taxing, but every time we help a victim recover their lost savings, every time we shed light on these hidden dangers, I feel like I'm finally honoring the true spirit of healing, one built on science, transparency, and genuine care, not exploitation. Yet, the shadows of Vitality Reborn still linger. Every time I see a flashy advertisement for a miracle cure or hear of someone abandoning proven medical treatment, a cold dread washes over me. The faces of those who sought health but found financial ruin and physical decline. They are the true ghosts of the placebo trap, haunting reminders of the dark underbelly where hope is exploited and suffering is turned into profit through deceit. My experience in the alternative therapy industry revealed a terrifying truth. The very path to healing can be paved with deception and profound harm. Unscrupulous individuals and organizations prey on your desperation, your desire for quick fixes, and your vulnerabilities when facing illness, turning your search for wellness into a source of immense profit for themselves, often at your ultimate expense. So, how can you protect yourself from the placebo trap? Always remember to approach any alternative or holistic treatment with healthy skepticism. Be wary of those that promise instant, radical cures, or claim to have secret, ancient wisdom. Thoroughly research any clinic, practitioner, or product you're considering. Look for independent, peer-reviewed scientific evidence, not just testimonials. Be extremely wary of those that demand exorbitant fees for unproven treatments or push you into buying large quantities of overpriced, unverified supplements. Never abandon legitimate medical care or discontinue prescribed medication without consulting with your primary care physician or a qualified medical specialist. Protect your personal boundaries and maintain your support network. Any practitioner who encourages you to isolate yourself from friends or family or discourages critical thinking is a massive red flag. Trust your instincts. If something feels off, too good to be true or manipulative, it probably is. And most importantly, if you feel pressured, isolated, or if your health is deteriorating under such care, seek a second opinion from a qualified, independent medical professional immediately. Your health, your finances, and your well-being are too important to risk on a false promise of healing. If Sarah's story made you look at the wellness world a little differently, remember to like this video, share this crucial warning with everyone you know, and subscribe to our channel. Hit that notification bell so you never miss another stark revelation. We'll continue to expose the hidden dangers in every profession. Stay vigilant, stay safe, and remember, not every promise of a cure leads to true wellness.